This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. She's been a while. Ooh, my goodness, ball season's back in effect, and yeah, she's game night tonight. But let me tell you, when there's this kind of Oilers news on tap midway through the afternoon at work, and all of a sudden everybody's texting me, everybody's messaging, everybody's commenting, everybody's losing their minds, and I can't get to it, you best believe when I get home I will get to it, even if I do have to eat before getting the ball, or I won't be able to leg out the triple like I did the other night. Anyway, Ken Holland, and of course Kevin Lowe, in the Hall of Fame officially as of today. Induction ceremony, I think, scheduled for sometime in November, the traditional stuff, but for now, they've been elected to the Hall of Fame. And, well, why do those names matter? There are two names tied to the Oilers organization. The situation, though, is Kevin Lowe, part of the Old Boys Club. We're going to leave that. I've discussed that enough. We're going to leave that aside out of this video. It has no relevance to this video because Kevin Lowe has been nominated and elected as a player. And then you've got GM, current GM of the Edmonton Oilers, Ken Holland, elected to the Hall of Fame as a builder. Okay? Player, builder. Both part of the Oilers' broader organization, the Oilers Entertainment Group, I guess you should say, because Kevin Lowe is still involved with the charity wing of the organization. You'd know, famous for a lot of his appearances and his big-time boosting of the Christmas Bureau in Edmonton. And, of course, that's where I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Kevin Lowe in person. So, my friends, that said, let's get to this, shall we? It's simply put, we've got a Hall of Famer in the GM chair. Now, I know a lot of us have had a lot of joy having Ken Holland, right? There was a little bit of fear there at the start when we hired him. Ooh, I don't know. He's kind of made some bad mistakes the past few years. And then he came in and built this playoff roster. Okay. All right. So we knew Ken Holland still had game. Well, Ken Holland, now certified gamer as a Hall of Famer in the NHL under the Builders category. So, let's read a little bit all about this whole Hall of Fame nonsense, shall we? The Hockey Hall of Fame nonsense, I should say. HHOF, if you've seen the acronym today. The blog from the Edmonton Oilers. I'll read it to you. I'll react to it as I always do. That is what we've built here so far in this pause season. Lowe, Holland headed to Hockey Hall of Fame. That is your headline, as written by Ryan Frankson. Man, Ryan, hey, if Ryan Frankson ever watches this video, man, thank you so much for writing this stuff. Thank you for giving me something to talk about during COVID-19 without the NHL. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right. Gratitude's out of the way. Oilers legend and 6-time Stanley Cup champion. That'll be key to my argument a little later on here. To be inducted as a player, current GM and president of Hockey Ops, to be honored as builder. Edmonton, Alberta. Oilers legend Kevin Lowe, as well as current GM and president of hockey operations Ken Holland, got the call to the Hall on Wednesday as they were selected for the Hockey Hall of Fame's class of 2020. On behalf of the Edmonton Oilers, I want to congratulate Kevin Lowe and Ken Holland for their induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame. See, now I can't read because I'm trying to do some weird voice. Said Bob Nicholson, chairman of the Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club. We are very proud that both Kevin and Ken are part of the Edmonton Oilers family. Kevin has been an integral part of this organization and community since his arrival in 1979. His impact on our hockey team and our city, both on and off the ice, has been extraordinary. We are also very fortunate to have Ken leading our hockey operations, bringing a wealth of experience, great success to the role. Both are extremely worthy of today's induction. Lowe. Kevin Lowe. Here's a fact. We've done this video already. If you didn't know, I've done a video about the great draft class of 1979. How about this for your super stat? The Oilers' first ever NHL draft pick, draft selection, whatever you want to say, 21st overall in the 1979 NHL entry draft, has made the Hockey Hall of Fame. Right? Forget about it. Forget about every single other Oilers player. The first player we ever drafted as an NHL franchise is a Hockey Hall of Famer. We'll get to the debate in a moment, I promise you, but just let that sink in. He also, the guy who scored the first ever goal in Oilers NHL history, is a Hockey Hall of Famer now, Kevin Lowe. Before winning 5 Stanley Cup titles with the Oilers and one more as a member of the New York Rangers, that great New York Oilers team of 1994. 61-year-old is Edmonton's franchise leader in games played with 1,037 and scored 432 points in 1,254 career games with the Oilers and Rangers, as well as 58 points in 214 playoff games. Now, I talked about the debate. Really, guys, those numbers, nothing special by comparison to Doug Wilson, who was also elected to the Hall of Fame as a player this year. The problem being here, and kind of the situation, is we always talk about the GOAT, the greats of the game. Well, when you get into that debate, and obviously the Oilers of the 80s were GOATs of the NHL for the 80s, you talk about championships, you talk about dynasties, right? And Lowe might not have been the biggest, bestest, fastest, brightest star on the team, but he was still a part of 6 Stanley Cup champions. And that's where I'm going to cut the argument. That's all I got. To back up Kevin Lowe as a Hall of Famer based on his career stats, all I have is, yes, he's very involved in the community, but that's after his playing days, and I don't know what he was doing in the 80s because, quite frankly, look at me. I wasn't even born midway through the 90s. I was born, just a little bit after. So, couldn't tell you. I've never seen a newspaper clipping of Kevin Lowe handing over anything in the 80s. Nothing. I've never even watched, realistically, a full game of Kevin Lowe playing defense for the Oilers. Other than maybe a rerun here and there since this whole COVID thing happened. So, to magnify anything, I don't know. I can't quantify anything. All I can really argue is 6 Stanley Cups. And that's where I end the debate because I shut up and hand it over to you if you know better. And you probably do. That's all I'm going to say. So, Kevin Lowe goes on to say he's extremely grateful, humbled, blessed, and very excited, adding he grew up just outside of Montreal watching the Canadiens win multiple Stanley Cup titles and dreaming of one day winning one himself. The defenseman is now the 7th player from the Oilers dynasty era to enter the Hockey Hall of Fame, joining Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Jari Kurri, Paul Coffey, Glenn Anderson, and Grant Fuhr. Now, you talk about a couple of those guys on those teams. Guess how many of them have 6 Stanley Cups? We've done a video. Go rewatch that 1979 draft, shall I? That's all I got to say there. I think I perhaps represent the next level of guys who helped win the championships. I appreciate that my contributions to the teams I played on are being recognized in this way. That's, like I said, you probably know better. That's fine and dandy. Thank you so much. Holland, who will be inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder, is currently in his first season as GM and president of hockey ops with the Oilers, following a 22-year tenure as GM of the Detroit Red Wings and more than 30 years total with the Motorcycle City Club. I wanted to say Motorcycle Club. Sons of Anarchy on the weekend, I tell you. 64-year-old was Detroit's assistant GM in 1997 when they won the Stanley Cup, and Holland went on to win 3 more championships with the Red Wings as their GM in 98, 02, 08. Yeah, that 08 Cup when they faced Pittsburgh, that back-to-back years. Cool. You remember that? I remember that. That was pretty crazy hockey. I am incredibly humbled by this honor. Holland said of his HHOF induction. I am in this game because I loved it as a young man, and I am happy to have been able to stay in the game. Under his leadership as GM, the Red Wings also won the division title 10 times, the regular season conference title 5 times, the President Trophy 4 times. Yeah, Detroit was a good team back then, and won more regular season games and postseason games than any other NHL team. Lowe and Holland's fellow Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2020 inductees are St. Albert native Jerome McGinley, forward Marian Hossa, defenseman Doug Wilson, and Canadian women's goaltending legend Kim St. Pierre. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Ken Holland, Cups, players drafted. There's really no debate there. I haven't heard anyone arguing about Ken Holland being a Hall of Famer, so we'll leave that one aside. I know the debate realistically is Kevin Lowe, and that's where, like I said, I wish I had a better opinion other than he's in there because of cups, but I can't tell you. Dude's very valuable to the Oilers organization now in the charity wing aspect. He's no longer in hockey operations, so he's no longer really realistically part of the old boys club. So where's the argument? Playing career? I have no say in that. I haven't watched his playing career. I wasn't alive during his playing career. So what do you do? Right? That's where I'm going to leave that right there. I can analyze stats, but I'm sorry. You've got a 2005-06 entry into the NHL fandom analyzing the 80s stats. Good luck to you, right? I'm sorry. So, guys, Ken Holland, Kevin Lowe, Hockey Hall of Famers for the class of 2020. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one.